Alright, safety equipment. We have nitrile safety gloves and a mask rated for fumes. Alright, let's get started. We're going to be making tree ornaments. So, to do this, we're going to first make up a batch of white resin. The total amount is going to be 100 milliliters since we're going to be making 4 ornaments. I am doing this all in one mixing cup because it guarantees I don't have any leftover B-side in any other mixing cups that I have to clean out later. Very annoying to do that. But when mixing it, you will see it turn stringy, then cloudy, then back to being clear. And now that the mixture is back to being clear, we're going to add in some pearl mica powder in order to color it a nice white, in order to make a snowy background for our ornaments. Alright, let's mix this all together and, well, start pouring it into the molds. For anyone already doing resin pouring or wants to get into it, I would recommend getting a hand mixer. It does wonders saving your arm and shoulders from just mixing the resin. Plus it saves you a lot of time. Okay, let's start pouring. I'm trying to split the resin into 4 equal parts into each one of these coaster molds. But that's a bit trickier to do, so I'm just going to eyeball it and hope for the best. I'm aiming for about 25 milliliters in each one, but more or less is fine. The main issue is covering the entire bottom with a white resin. So I'm going to move these off of my pouring mat and onto a glass tray I have set to the side, in order to make it cure and harden all nice and level. Alright, I've come back to my pour now that it's midnight to apply a glitter wash to the resin, now that it's hardened a bit and it's no longer tacky. So we're just going to brush some of this glitter paint over the acrylic in hopes that it gives the snow a bit more of a sparkle, more of a shine to it. Alright, I'm almost done here. I'll set these back aside and let them dry up, and I'll come back to it in the morning. I'm back, and I don't really like the brush strokes that you can still see on there. It's a nice little bit of a glitter effect, but the brush strokes really ruin it for me. So here I'm going to be using a paint pen to try and draw a snowflake. And you will see that I am really good at drawing snowflakes. It's like a perfect snowflake. Perfect if you're blind at least, because I am really bad at it. I did not expect me to be this bad at drawing snowflakes. Oh well, at least I can do trees, kind of. Following standard Bob Ross protocol, I'm just going to be using a fan brush to try and make an evergreen tree. Just a happy little tree on top of the resin, a little bit of brown for the background and green for the highlights. A nice happy little tree. Paint in some little dollops of orange and blue for the ornaments, and we have a little Christmas tree. Now I could draw other Christmas type stuff, but let's just keep doing trees. Kinda want to practice my tree painting. The trees are relatively easy to make. It's just a line, and using the corner of a fan brush, I'm gonna just push down and make some leaves. Once the whole darker underside's finished, I'm going to use a green and, well, to add color to it, making it look more like an evergreen. Now that the base coat of green's done, a little bit of lighter shade of green for some highlights, and we're finished. Do that for both trees, paint in some ornaments, so that way they all look like Christmas trees. Then we'll be ready to pour on the next cover of... We'll be ready to pour the resin again. Like last time, we are once again going to be using 100 milliliters of resin, but this time I'm going to be adding in the glitter paint directly to the resin. since I wasn't that big of a fan on having it on the white resin itself because of the brush strokes. So hopefully having it suspended in resin on the top layer will have a nice cool snowing effect. Now that it's all mixed together, we're just going to start pouring. An even amount in each one, filling up the molds as best as I can. Should have used a bit more resin for this, but nothing that really I can do about that. Or nothing I really want to do about that, I should say. Oh well, let's see how they all turned out. Let's take them out. Okay. Solid background, 2 separate layers, and a protected painting. The glitter effect is just how I wanted it. So perhaps I should have painted a bit of white on the trees to make it look like snow. But that's fine. When I make more of these, I can always try that again. So far, I do think they look pretty cool though. Well, no matter how much I do like the result, they're not much of an ornament if you can't hang it up on a tree. So let's get to doing that. Let's drill some holes in these things. And you missed an adventure. I've already drilled it, injured myself, and now I'm making the holes bigger because it didn't work. And I didn't record any of it. But all I'm doing is using a drill and a previous coaster I made in order not to damage my table. I'm just gonna drill in. It's very quick and easy. And then that's about it. Just drill. Now that we're finished that, we're gonna thread them. Scratch that, we're gonna edge them instead. Using sandpaper, I'm gonna scuff up the edge around the ornaments in order to have a surface that paint can more easily stick to. Since what I want to do is paint these copper, bronze, silver, and gold. Starting with bronze. Using a sponge brush, I'm going to just dab the paint on to the edge, just so it sticks and gives a surface for more paint to stick to. Alright, next up is silver. We're going to scuff up the edge just like the bronze, and then start dabbing on the silver paint. All finished. Next up is gold. So once again, we're going to do the same thing, except this time, instead of going straight for the gold paint, I'm going to be adding on a white primer first. I just want to see if this makes the gold pop more. In theory, it should. Now that the primer is all dry, it's time to apply the gold. We're just going to dab it on like before. And yeah, keep dabbing it and cover the whole thing in gold. Now I should have cleaned off the faces at this stage instead of waiting for them to dry, because I really couldn't clean them when they were dry without any sort of paint thinner. So while they're still wet, make sure to take a brush and clean off the flat faces. Otherwise, it'll be much harder later on to clean. And here, without a primer, I'm going to be dabbing on the silver. Or not silver, the copper. Okay, now that the edges of the ornaments are all finished, I'm just going to set them aside to dry before I thread some string through each of the openings and make them hangable. Alright, we're going to feed the string through the eye of the medallion, and we're going to properly tie a knot. The other one on screen is improperly tied, so I'm going to show you how to properly tie it. So you're going to take the line from your... Oh, I'm going to do it incorrectly here first. And I'm going to stop myself. And now in slow motion, we're going to do it the proper way. Right hand over left, down through the loop. Alright, now once again, now you want to go right behind left, and then through the loop again. Grab each of the strings, and then pull. Once it's pulled taut, you'll have a knot that will tighten in on itself. That's making it so it won't fall. Plus you can use a lot less string tying it this way than the double knot that I did over there. And there, just like that, it's nice and tight. Trim off the excess and you're good to go. Or properly cut enough lines so you don't have to trim it. This was my first time ever tying anything like this, so I had some experiments. Hence the already completed one in the background. But this is how you properly tie the knot, so we'll do it again, but this time with smaller rope. Alright, so from start to finish, I'm going to take out some line, cut it, and cut it in half. One for each medallion. I'm going to feed it through, and then tie it. Doing it the same way as before. And this will show you can get a much smaller loop with this knot. Cut off the excess, and it's good to go. It's finished. Let's do the next one. There's a little bit of fray here, so I'm just going to cut that out. Feed it through the eye. Let it fall into the middle. And tie it up just like before. Cut off the excess, if there is any. And they're ready to be hung up on a tree. Or around your fingers, or anything really. Because the ornaments are done. And that's how you make ornaments out of resin. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.